Hello, welcome to All Talk TV. I'm David Grossman. It's great to be here. I want to introduce you to Frank Maloney. Frank, welcome. So we're going to shake hands. How are you today?
Fantastic, David. How are you?
Good, good. Glad for you to be here today. Frank is a coach, and he's a speaker. He does some amazing things. He's the author of a book, a few books actually, and I'll show you this first one, which I enjoyed reading this weekend. It's called Live It. Terrific book, lovely book, and he also has written this motorcycling, a lifelong passion. That's a beauty. When I first met Frank, he came up on his motorcycle, and I was pretty impressed. So, Frank, it's good for you to be here. Why don't we start talking about this book, Live It?
Sure.
How did this come to be?
Very good question, David. I would say that for the most part of my life, I was living inauthentically. Trying to please other people, and wanting to be judged positively by other people. And I came to a crossroads about 10 years ago where I realized that I was the lie in my life,
Right.
and that I couldn't go on anymore, that I was a person of integrity and authenticity. And I started going down that pathway, even though I knew it would be a hard path. I knew it was the right way to go, and ever since then, I've had a traumatic event about 4 years ago where my partner at that time passed away, and that kind of really it was very, very tragic. But at the same time, it awoke me to this is you don't get to redo it. This life, this is it. So you want to live every day as if it really matters, and authentically as much as possible.
Right.
Just be your true self. Stop trying to please other people, and just really be yourself. And that's been my path, I would say, for the last few years.
Right. So authenticity is a central theme, I know, in the book. You start off with this principle of authenticity. So this is something that I know is very important in your world. Now, you're also a law of attraction coach, which is a big thing. We hear a lot of people talking about the law of attraction nowadays. Tell us about that.
Well, the law of attraction is basically the concept that what our thoughts create our reality, that what we focus on grows, and that we are able to attract abundance into our life if we start thinking those type of thoughts, and that basically that everything is connected. It's interconnected. There are no mistakes or surprises. Everything is meant to happen in a certain way, and there's almost an organizing principle, I would say, at a higher level. I'm not particularly religious, but I would say that there is some sort of organizing principle. It's definitely not random. We've all had experiences and examples where we look back in our life and just look at how fortuitous events happen.
Right.
And it's always very clear looking backwards. But if we can assume that it's going to work out positively in the future, that gives us, first of all, it makes us feel a lot better. And I really believe that good thoughts attract other good thoughts and feelings, people, events, and circumstances to our life. And that's in a nutshell, I would say, the law of attraction.
You say something very interesting in the book. You say, and I'm paraphrasing here, so
Sure.
help me out.
Absolutely.
What you focus on gets bigger. What you resist persists, and what you ignore goes away.
Haunts you no more.
Haunts you no more, of course.
It rhymes.
So my question, and this is you wrote that. Okay. So my question is if there's something that's, let's say an addiction or something that somebody has, there's a difference between resisting and ignoring.
Right.
Can you help for
Sure.
for me and some people who might be wondering how to distinguish between
Sure,
that?
sure. When I say that, I'm not saying that we put our head in the sand like an ostrich and there's no lion, there's no lion, there's no
Right.
lion, there's still a lion.
Right.
What I'm saying is that once we've taken action towards, usually fear or worry is a signal to us to get into action, and it means that, hey, there's something not quite right. We need to be more prepared. We need to do something to kind of alleviate that. And I think too many people in this day and age actually just try to numb it or ignore it or just move away from it. And what I mean by that is once you've taken action towards it, then you want to expect that it's going to work out the best possible. You don't want to focus, because I don't know if you've noticed, if you're having a bad day and you start telling everybody that you speak to you're having a bad day, it amplifies itself, and you just keep reliving that bad day and those experiences and those thoughts over and over again.
Right.
And then ironically, you attract more of that. So that's why often when we're having a bad day, we're having a bad day.
Right.
A lot of things.
So it's better to ignore it.
Well, yes. I mean, what I'm saying is you want to focus on what's great in your life. Be appreciative,
right,
and be thankful for what you do have, and say, this has been given to me. I'm having a challenge today, but I'm going to work through it. And one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is that if you think of the analogy of a rubber band, if I ask you, David, think of 100 uses for a rubber band. There's not one of those 100 uses that involve the rubber band not being stretched.
Right.
And as humans, we're like rubber bands. We work at our best when we're stretched or pushed.
Yes.
And I think most people are trying to, choose a safe life or a life of security, but that doesn't lead to a life of significance. And that's where I think the challenge lies. So what I'm saying is, what you focus on grows. So your thoughts, your experiences. So focus on the good things that are happening in your life. And when bad things happen, deal with them, but try not to dwell on them. It's probably a better way to say it.
Right. Okay. Hopefully. Gotcha. You talk about having a life purpose. Does everybody get to that point in their life? I mean, it's great, like you're obviously somebody who's done a lot of introspection. A lot of people are, they're just going to work every day trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Does everybody have a life's purpose, and can everybody tap into that?
Okay, that's a great question. Everybody definitely has a life purpose. There's a reason we were put on this planet, and there's a pathway. That being said, I would say that it's tragically small, the number of people who actually go for what their purpose is, or even start detecting what it is, and fewer even are living it to that point. And as you say, people are in survival mode. People are, they can't see the forest for the trees. And one of the challenges of that is that when you are older in your life and you look back at your life, you say, what have I done? What have I done of significance? And that dash that goes between the dates on our tombstone. What's that dash? What did you do in that dash? And I think you have to look inside and say, hey, what makes me unique? What makes me so different than everyone else? What's the one thing that I could do? Let's say I won $10 million tomorrow morning. What's the one thing I could do no matter what? And I'd love to do that. Usually that's a good signal as to, and when we talk life purpose, we don't necessarily mean a job or a career or an avocation. I think too many people fall into that. My career determines where I am. There's so much more to our lives. That's just one of our, of the 8 areas of our lives.
Right.
So I would say that, finding our life purpose should be one of our first primary objectives in our life, but so little times we never went to school and been asked those questions. What's your purpose? It's always been, what job do you want?
Right.
What kind of career do you see yourself doing?
Right.
And those are important things, but really once you've found your purpose, everything else becomes clearer. Choices become easier, and it's a life of significance, and it's not necessarily an easy life, but it's so much more rewarding. I find so many people are sleepwalking like zombies throughout their lives, and it's kind of sad.
Right. I'd like to ask you about these men's groups that you organize. I think are they all done by video conference? I mean, how do they work? And I think there's some mixed groups too, or I don't know if there's separate groups for women.
Right.
How does it all work?
I call them men's circles, and women's circles, but yes, they're groups. And we meet live once every 2 weeks, typically in person at one of the people's locales. We just rotate it, and it's basically a place where men, in the case of the men's circle, or women in the case of the women's circle, get to really be authentic and talk about what's really going on in their life, the challenges that they have, and what's really working for them, and have be facilitated by professional coach and facilitators
Which is
who
you.
care.
Okay.
And someone who's able to kind of get to the bottom of we fall into our story and we start believing the story of what's going on, and it's a supportive environment, it's a challenging environment, and it's accountability. I think a lot of people need some of that accountability to go out into their life and really live it.
Right.
Literally.
Right. I think it's a great concept because I know I mean, somebody could be telling you about an issue or something, and it may be very obvious to you, But if they're in a room with a group of people, and if it's obvious to everybody in the room that somebody's overlooking something, or there may be an easier solution to a problem, that's probably a good way for somebody to know. I mean, you can tell them. Sometimes you can give somebody the answer to something, till you're blue in the face, right? But so that's an environment where people probably really will see things.
And I think one of the other aspects that's really important about the men's circles and the women's circles is that, first of all, we're being witnessed. It's so rare to be witnessed with our truth, our true in everyday life. We're trying to protect. We have these masks on to go through life and be seen a certain way, and be professional at work, and be a good father or a good mother, be a good community person, and all these. But in the safety of the circle, you get to see that a lot of the issues you're going through, other people have problems too, and in that way, it's kind of, it removes some of that, oh, I'm alone with all these problems, everybody else's life is great. Because we always tend to how could I say, think what other people are basically overthink and
okay.
overanalyze, and,
right.
and we actually we're much too positive about how the others' lives are going, and much too negative versus ours,
right.
and that there's always that discrepancy. Oh, their life is great. Look at everything that's going on in their life, but we don't know what's going on behind them. Behind the men and women's circle, that's where the truth comes out, and we get to support each other, and it's a really, really positive environment, and for myself as a coach, it's one of the most rewarding things that I do, is to allow people to connect. Also, it creates a community as well.
And if somebody wants, so those are local, those are not over video, so those are here in Toronto. If people are watching and they want to be
they can
part
contact
of that,
me.
they can contact you.
Sure.
We've got your phone number, which we can put up on the screen,
Yeah.
873-1833, and also they can go to your website, which is To Be Frank. We'll put the website up as well. tobefrank.ca, so people can check that out.
That's the name of my company, To Be Frank.
There was a story you told when you were very young about how you wanted to, you were looking for, you wanted a certain job, and they didn't call you back. And you went and you sat at the office. You sat there for 2 days.
That actually wasn't my story, but it was somebody in one of the stories in Live It, absolutely. And it shows how basically, sometimes when we've got the drive inside of us, and the gentleman in question just refused to say no, and just sat there for a whole day. He had driven from Windsor to Toronto, and they didn't want to see him, and he said, I'm just going to sit here until somebody sees me.
Right.
And eventually someone came out and saw him, and within 2 days he got a call back from the organization, and they said, you seem to want it so bad, like you've got an interview, and he ended up getting a job, which is kind of interesting. I'm not saying everyone should go out and do that, but it's sometimes, when you don't have those alternative or plan Bs, some of the great stuff that we do comes from there. That.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're so used to sending out resumes and trying to market ourselves or our business on social media, and sometimes all you got to do is show up and look the person in the eye and tell them you want the job. And obviously, people, they put up as many barriers as they can sometimes, especially in a large company. But here's a guy who eventually got escorted out, but he got the job.
Absolutely.
He obviously made an impression on them. That's for sure.
For sure.
I want to ask you about this idea of scarcity versus abundance, or perhaps I should say abundance versus scarcity.
Sure.
It's a great concept in terms of how you look at things in your life. But how, if somebody is struggling out there, and if you're, let's say you're looking for a job, and they see, look, there's so many applicants for every job, and they're having trouble. Or even if they're in business for themselves, and they go to bid on a job, and the people are just looking for there's so many different suppliers. So it seems like there's just not enough work. How would you communicate to somebody in that case to look at things from a positive standpoint, from a standpoint of abundance? How do you reframe that?
Okay, well, you've given me 2 examples there. One is a small business owner, and one is a potential employee, someone looking for work. I was a recruiter for about 5 years, so that's part of my background. And just some of the words you used in terms of there's so many applicants and there's so few jobs and that sort of thing is a typical scarcity kind of perspective where, and I find that the media, no offense, is very, very focused on lack or on
Right.
scarcity, right? Oh, they don't report when a company has 20,000 new jobs. They say that when a company cuts 30,000
Sure.
jobs, because that gets the ratings up and that sort of thing. But the person who's out there looking for work, I would say that once you've got yourself a professional looking resume, you probably want to go out there and network your way. In this day and age, 85% of all jobs are in the hidden job market. So for that person, I would say, sending thousands of resumes might feel good over the internet, but think about everybody else doing that from the comfort of the
Right.
living room. But if you put on, get dressed up and go see a company and meet some people, or go to a meetup group or a networking event,
Right.
you have a better chance. And looking into your warm network of people you've already worked with, those people, that's about 10 times more effective than any
Right.
cold calls. And for the person running a small business, hey, it's a tough environment out there. I run my own small business selling books and coaching seminars and that sort of thing. That being said, when you believe in what you're doing, people can really grab onto that. And I would say that a lot of people get caught up in wanting easy solutions, and sometimes often you have to put in a lot of hard work. I mean, I'm fully employed, and I have a couple of businesses on the side, and I'm still working I'm working there because I want to build something for the future, and so I'm making cold calls. I'm talking to people almost every day,
Right.
and if you're sitting back of your computer and you're just sending emails, I mean, emails are great, but they don't have the same immediacy as a phone call or a face-to-face. And I think a lot of the electronic connection that we've had these days has kind of sent the wrong message to people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with an email to confirm something, but it's not the best way to approach new people, I would say. So get out there,
Right.
meet some real human people, press the flesh, as they say
Right.
in politics. That still hasn't changed. I think the technology has helped us in other ways. It's amazing that we have cell phones that we can have unlimited plans. So use it, phone it. Don't just text people and email them. So again, I'm not sure if I answered your question, but an abundance mentality is everywhere in your life. I expect great things to happen. I'm happy with what I have, but more is coming.
Yeah, no, I think you did, and I think that as I see it, that you have to be positive, because and you have to take the good that you can from every day, and it's not only about the end result, but it is the process. So
Right.
if you're getting out and you're learning and you're meeting new people and expanding to your network, who knows?
Right.
Maybe you'll find that that there's a different job altogether that you're looking for. Or maybe you'll find that looking for a job is not where you want to be, but maybe it's being self-employed. And,
Perhaps, maybe, or contract, or that sort of thing. I mean, one of the things that I tell people all the time is that, when you're out there looking for work, it's a full-time job. You should be out there, working 9 to 5 looking for work, because that's your job as an unemployed person. Your job full-time is to look for work. And I think that a lot of people forget that, and then they're expecting that the first phone call they do gets them somewhere. So, but you're right. The person should look inside and see, hey, do I really want another job? Because sometimes that's what the universe is saying. It's not your time to get another job. There's something else out there for you.
Right.
So, because if we keep pushing in a direction that's not working for us, either our thought pattern around it isn't right, or because if you're not really engaged and enthused about doing something, it's not going to give you the great results. People feel that.
Right. Yeah.
They get that.
I was listening to an audio CD yesterday. It was about the kind of work that an entrepreneur would take on, and he said that if he has an opportunity to take something on, like, he won't do it unless he sees. It's not only about the money. He needs to grow from it. He needs that there has to be something in it. It's like some kind of personal development in it.
Yeah, I think you're circling back to our life purpose, what we were talking about. Once we know what it is that we do, and if you can imagine 3 circles intersecting in the middle, I'm taking you back to the Venn diagram of high
Right.
school, but our life purpose is in the center of 3 other circles, and those circles are what is basically our potential. What is it that we have that's different than anybody else? What is it that our likes, our dislikes, our aptitudes, our beliefs, our strengths? So that's one circle. The other circle is profit. Is there money to be made in a certain area? Can you make money there? Because sometimes you can feel great about it all day long. If there's no one making a profit from it, or you can't make a profit from it, you're not going to stay enthused very long. And the last circle, so the first one was potential, right? The second one was profit, right?
Yes.
And the last one is passion.
Right.
If you don't have that passion, and in the middle of those 3 circles is our purpose. And it's important to have some sort of a purpose and know. I know myself. I have it on my vision wall, which you've probably read about and live it.
Yes.
I'm a pretty big
You
proponent.
have a huge vision wall.
I have a vision wall.
Like
The
it's a
whole living
whole,
room is a vision wall,
right.
and most of the things that are on there are on the way to happen or have happened in my life, which is it's absolutely amazing how it works. And one of the things that I wrote down for myself is my life purpose is to educate, teach, and entertain people. And if something approaches me or an opportunity comes along, if it doesn't fit that very simple litmus test, I won't look at it because I
Right.
don't feel it anymore. And I think as we grow older, we become more in tune with that and say, you know what, it doesn't feel right. I'm not going to do it. I know I've done that before and it didn't work out right anyway. Or it worked out okay, but it would have worked out so much better if you really were passionate or excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're very excited about the TV that you do and the dream that you have, and that's what fuels you even through the hard times. If you don't have that passion, the first couple of speed bumps you meet and difficulties, you're going to quit.
That's right.
And that's what most people do. But if you've got that passion and that vision and that dream that's bigger than you and it drives you, I mean, then you become almost, superhuman. Nothing will touch you.
Nobody can stop
No,
you.
you can't be. They'll
Like
just
like a dog with a bone. Right?
Yeah, you're on
just
it.
Try and get that bone.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
right.
It's interesting you say entertain as part of your purpose. Tell me about that, because one would normally think that a coach, I mean, certainly teach and help others and so on. But what about the entertaining side of things?
Yeah.
Are you have an entertainment? Can you juggle, or what do you do?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any of those skill sets.
Okay.
However, I have been told that when I speak live, I'm so passionate about what I believe in, and I think I have a very good sense of humor when I'm there, and I'm easygoing. I'm one of those presenters that really, I mean, I'm in the moment. I'm there. And my job is to serve my audience, and people get that. And I love the term edutainment, so education, entertainment. And I really believe that even teaching at the college at George Brown, that is what I do. In this day and age of short attention spans, all the electronic gizmos, if you're not cutting through the clutter, if you're not engaging your audience with some form of entertainment or a story or whatever it is to grab them, you can't just deliver content. It doesn't work anymore. People are tuned out. It's not going to work anymore. So for me, that entertainment piece is very important to get my message across. So
Right.
again, it's kind of the wrapper for the message. Sometimes I have a difficult or a challenging message to deliver to people. But if it comes in a package where they see that it's a little light, it's fun,
Right.
it seems to be, it gets more traction that way.
Okay, that sounds very good. Okay, well, there is something else I wanted to mention, and that is that, Frank, you have a business background as well, because I'm thinking, okay, that if people have personal issues and they need a coach, great. But one thing that I just thought was a real plus, that sometimes, like a lot of times, I think people's personal issues may be somehow tied into finance. And I think it's worth pointing out that you have a business degree, a master's in business administration, and you taught marketing
Yeah.
at a college for a number of years. So
Yeah, I do
and
that.
So you're pretty savvy then when it comes to business and things like that. So
Absolutely, yes. I help. I have quite a few small business owners that I coach presently, and it's really exciting to be on the ground floor, the grassroots level that way. And I find that it has a big impact when you can deal with the decision maker at the top of an organization, whether it's an organization of one or thousands. It's very exciting, and it's I have a varied toolkit to help all kinds of clients, and that is actually what I love to do. I love different types of clients from all kinds of backgrounds. It keeps me sharp. It's kind of like I would imagine a general practitioner doctor. You never know. It's like Forrest Gump. You don't know what you're going to get. It's a box of chocolates.
Right.
Oh, this problem, this challenge. And I love working with the diversity of people.
Because you don't call yourself a business coach per se, but you could.
Oh, absolutely. I do a lot of small business coaching for sure.
Because they say what most marital problems are people fighting over money or financial.
Absolutely. No, they're all connected for sure. All of our life areas are connected whether we see the connections or not. So for example, if you're having money problems, as you mentioned, that will impact your relationship. It will impact your career. It will impact your fun. It will impact your health. They're all connected. And you know, I think the science has done us a great disservice trying to put everything in different boxes when we're really a whole person that's integrated, body, mind, and soul and spirit, and that's all together. And when something's not right in one area, it overlaps and overwhelms some of the other areas. So
Right.
that's why a coaching relationship works. It's kind of a holistic approach to the person. It's not just, oh, you have this problem in business, let's fix that. No, that probably a lot of that's coming from the self-esteem of the person, how they see themselves, their beliefs, their values.
Right, right. So Frank, I think we should just mention to our audience that if they would want to check out your books, this one I really enjoyed. I just read this weekend. Live It, Your Courageously Authentic Life, and we talked about the importance of authenticity, being yourself.
Absolutely.
Some great principles, exercises, and things. How do people get this book?
Yeah, on my website,
Okay.
www.tobefrank.ca, under the books, Live It.
Okay, so we're going to bring up a copy of the website rather too. So just to remind people of the proper spelling,
absolutely.
tobefrank.ca.
Correct.
And the other book is this Motorcycling, A Lifelong Passion. This is a nice book here.
Absolutely, full color. It's 2 books in one. It's a coffee table kind of book with the history of motorcycles, what it feels like, what are the best motorcycles for you, and you know, motorcycle movies and culture. And it's also a adventure travelogue where my co-author drove down to South America on his motorcycle solo, 11 months, 14 countries, 65,000 kilometers, no backup team. He crashed. He was held at Machete Point. He fell
Held
in
at
love.
Machete Point?
Absolutely, in Guatemala. He was attacked. Someone threw a rock at his helmet. He was knocked off the bike. They stole all of his things. He had a machete at his throat. Yeah, but you know, the next village he showed up at, they gave him clothes and they supported him. So, like he told me, he said, you know, I had 3 bad people I met in 11 months. I mean, I can meet that in one day in the city. So, but yeah, it's his adventure and it's in full color, and we're pretty excited. It just came out 3 weeks ago, and it's
Pretty
available
awesome.
actually on motorcyclingpassion.com is the website.
Motorcyclingpassion.com.
Correct.
So yeah, there's a lot of great pictures here.
Yeah, no, it's a great little adventure story.
And you've been doing some motorcycling yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Since 4 years ago, I got back into it. I'd taken a 15-year hiatus from motorcycles, and I realized that it's a huge passion of mine, and I love riding motorcycles.
Terrific. And we have the phone number as well. We have Frank's phone number, which is 873-1833. Frank Maloney, coach, author of a few books, Live It and Motorcycling, A Lifelong A Lifelong Passion. And also the people can contact you to do coaching, or if they want to be part of the men's group or the women's group.
Right, and I'm
to
speaking on June
participate.
20th as well at Chalkers Pub.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. I'm speaking Steve Fleming's group there,
Yes.
Soul City, and I'm going to be doing a talk, actually, and a seminar on
Right.
finding your life purpose. So if people want to come out, it's going to be a transformative evening. Absolutely. I don't think this has ever been done in Toronto before, so I'm pretty excited about it.
I'll be there as well. And
Great, I'll see you there.
We're definitely looking forward to that. So that should be very exciting. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for watching today. I'm David Grossman. We're here with Frank Maloney. Frank, thanks again for being with
David.
us. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.